All right. Here we are on March 12th. I had to figure out what day it was. Um, at least I knew it was March. And it's Thursday, March 12th, 2026. Here with Rich Ross, it's the Dev Talk Show. How are you doing this morning?
Good, Chris. Good, Chris. It's yeah, very excited and already spent a good bit of time having Copilot delegate a bunch of tasks that I've got to do. So check in when we're done the show and see how well those are done.
Yeah. What a very kind of interesting world, right? So certainly we have been doing some work with the agentic web. Is that right for me to call it that?
I've been trying to get the term, so everybody wants, I'm not a fan of the vibe coding term.
Right. Yeah, sure.
So I'm trying to really push agentic development, agentic dev. Some people have taken as far as say agentic DevOps, and I think that's only a portion of it.
Yeah.
So I'm really trying to say it's agentic development and see how that hangs on.
Yeah. And what's interesting is I feel like I am beginning to understand that there's like a maturity model to this where you probably remember, and if anybody who's watched the show for some time, you'll remember that I used to ask Rich questions like, is there more to AI than just chatting?
Yeah.
And so the pizza bot that we've been working on to me represents one layer up. We are still chatting with an agent, but then it is going off and doing work. Whereas previously we were just chatting with the agent.
Yeah, there was none of this agent orchestration and sub agents and background tasks happening. It was all it was your pair programmer, right? It was
right.
And this agent that you were back and forth with. And it worked great. But I think that we've switched the context to basically say that I could send multiples of these to go do parts of the work and come back and reassemble everything.
Right.
It's pretty changing.
And I think there's another stage coming after this that we will explore on the show, which is AI working in a way behind the scenes that you as the user may not even realize it's happening. Right. Such as, so right now we know we're talking to an AI chatbot because we're typing to it and it's going like, yes, I'm order a pizza for you. But imagine a scenario where today you might get a bunch of documents that you pour through and you use it to load up an Excel spreadsheet or something. Well, what if you just uploaded those and it just said, listen, here's the Excel spreadsheet, it's done. And you're sitting there going, well, wait a second. One of these was a photo I took I took a photo of a bill sitting on the table and now you've entered it. Now we know software does this today.
Right.
But I think when it comes to an agent doing it with an LLM, you're getting past the point of deterministically programming. Okay, fire up the OCR reader, figure out who this bill is from. Well, not, go image to text, see if the text, like it has the ability to say like, well, look, I've never seen this document before and I can still figure out how to apply it.
Right.
So I think those are going to be interesting applications.
Yeah. And then, things that aren't even code, right? I did a video and I gave it to a friend of mine. Hey, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully you've been following along on the series and appreciate you saying hi. We love comments, whether they're here live on the show notes down below. And we are going to get to work in just a second. But Rich, so I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I saw the flash up. So I did a video. It was an internal video, just kind of show a use case I was working on. And I gave it to a friend of mine. I said, hey, give me your thoughts. And he gave this really awesome critique. It had some great points in it. So I took the transcript from that and I took his comments and I said, help me adjust the transcript based on this guy's comments. And oh, by the way, it kind of needs to be, I think it was running like 7 minutes. It kind of needs to be 5 minutes, but give me a 5-minute and a 7-minute version of this. And it was an interesting task. So it gave me some things that I've got to go through and recut the video, but I like the thought process it went through and the interjections it did. So yeah, this is where
I want to make sure that our pizza bot is working.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Before we get, well, and I was just setting this up while you were talking. So last time, if you were here last time, we used GitHub Copilot within Visual Studio itself to determine by basically handing it the local MCP server, because now we've implemented the MCP. We've gone a step beyond the Python-based workshop now. We now have the MCP server in .NET. And so nice. We can basically say to it, hi, I want to order pizza. I just want to make sure this is working. I want to order pizza. And let's see if it figures out. And it says, yeah. Okay. Oh, it's looking at the project. It's looking at the project, but I want it to say, here we go. Yep. This tool is from PizzaBot MCP. That's cool. So it's basically just confirming that I'm good with it. And we're going to say, I'm going to just say always allow, because I mean, nothing can go wrong with pizza. Right. And so it's working. This is what we want. I want to make sure it's clear to the audience. This is running in locally in debug in Visual Studio right now. Our not only our API. So let me double check here. I'm going to ask about toppings in a moment. So I want to make sure that it's coming from our API. We'll put a couple breakpoints in just to make absolutely certain. And then I'll also go to our MCP server and we'll go to the tools. We made all these tools using the MCP SDK for C# developers. And then set some breakpoints here on get toppings. This is before we move on to the next piece, which is implementing the Blazor dashboard. And I'm going to say, like, what toppings are available for your great pizzas? And it should go ahead. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. It's using the tool. Here we are. MCP tools being called. Get toppings was being called. We'll continue. Our API is being called. Awesome. And it returns the topping. So that's what we want.
The little icon or the emoticons in the in the response.
So now we need a way to make this public. And last time I tried using ngrok, I'm not even positive that was the problem. I think we had some other issues with the MCP server. So it could work fine. Let me try that again. And I believe, let's see, I want to make sure that I have the URL correct for both. It's funny, the MCP server is at 5,000. Okay, fine. It's sitting on 5,000. So I get myself a little forwarding thing, which I will copy. Now, I think maybe the first thing to do is I wonder if I should test it. I wonder if I should test it in here first by saying, well, instead of using localhost 5,000, change the tool setting, right?
Right.
Okay, so here it is. So what I'm going to do, and there aren't very many people watching, so even though this is going directly to my machine, I'm going to take the blessing of being a new show. Oh yeah. Hey, some requests came through. As soon as I hit that, there's some requests came through. So that tells me, oh, and here it is, 9 assets. Yeah, it's all here. Okay. So requests came through ngrok. And now I'm going to say, what was the pineapple topping again? I know. So I think it should still call. Let's see what it does. Okay, it actually, maybe it just already knew because it didn't make any calls. So, I'd like to order a pepperoni pizza. I just want to get it to call our local MCP server. User ID is blah blah blah, and my name is Chris, and that should work. I just want to make sure that our local copy of this is exposed. Oh, order placed successfully. Oddly enough, I didn't get any indication. I was hoping to get more of an indication. Okay. All right. Well, the key thing is we need that. Go ahead.
Aren't you? I mean, can't you use the? So it said the order was. Can't we use the minimal endpoint to see the list of placed orders?
That's true. Oops, I accidentally just placed an order, which isn't what I meant to do.
Okay.
Let's go look at the current orders. There's only one, so I don't think it actually placed an order.
Yeah, it's probably the one you just did. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's the order we just did. In fact, and it's now showing as in preparation. Okay.
Yeah.
I hope there's nothing wrong with the tools, because what I'd like to do is to have the Foundry agent using that endpoint.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
So you had the MCP working. What switched between the one where it was working and we don't think it, and when we thought it stopped working?
When I tried to order the pizza, it asked me all the right questions, but it didn't contact the MCP server. And the only reason I know that is not just because we're not seeing the order here, but because we actually have the console for the local MCP server, and it's not showing anybody trying to create that pizza. Okay. So hopefully that's fine. Let me what we need to do is we have create Foundry agent, which knows how to talk to an agent, and it has an app settings. And so we need this to switch to our local version.
Yeah.
And then what we need to do is run this, start without debugging, because the rest is being debugged.
Okay.
So here's our Foundry agent come into life. Oh, actually, what it's doing, it's creating a new version of the agent, which will have the MCP server updated. If we were to go to the Foundry portal right now, we'd see the MCP server was updated, and it should be pointing back to us. Hi there. Yeah. What kind of things can you help with? I don't even spell things correctly anymore, like my typing. And what I can tell you is that, okay, so SSE is what I wanted, right? /SSE?
Yes.
Okay, you know what the problem is? It's trying to reach HTTPS, and we don't have HTTPS. So
true.
Let's
I mean, you can enable it. It would go over to go over the same port for ngrok, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't have it enabled in the project at all. Does Foundry require it to be? Or can I just switch it back to this?
I don't think you can switch back to that because it wants communication to be. You can try it, but I don't think so. But it doesn't matter. ngrok can do that translation for you. So ngrok would basically do both endpoints, and it would send it over to HTTP on your side.
I think one of the problems is now that I think about it, I don't think the MCP server supports HTTPS. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that because when you do a file new project, you get, in fact, we won't do it here.
And I guess what I'm saying is it doesn't matter because ngrok is going to interface that or abstract that for you. It's going to translate that to be HTTP. It's going to be your SSL.
Okay, right. I understand. Like that's what this is saying, but I don't think it did it.
I don't think it's set up. It's supposed to, but I don't think it. Well, maybe it is set up.
Well, actually, it's saying 404 not found, which makes no sense to me because the SSE was working.
Oh, all right.
The backward compatibility for SSE was working. Like we've seen it work.
But you don't have that path map. And so hover over map MCP again. So the method also maps legacy SSE. So that's fine, but it'll map the backwards SSP or SSE, but we told that it's MCP, not SS, or we told it was SSE.
Yeah, this is all the way it's supposed to work. It's just not. It's just not working. So let me open the Foundry portal. I'm wondering if I don't know. I'm still kind of thinking that maybe well, I could be wrong. That part of the issue is that the application itself doesn't support it. So PizzaBot 02, let's go to build. Let's take a look at our agent, Contoso PizzaBot. And we can see that the HTTP server, see, it's kind of knows. Now, is there a way to test this?
Yeah, so if you use, so what you can do is just like you did in the Copilot window, ask it here to go ahead and, hey, can you create a pizza, or you want to order a pizza?
Yeah, right. See, it can't enumerate the tools.
Oh,
and see why? Look at this. It's trying to reach it. It's trying to reach it on 443.
So wait a minute. What's the link we shared?
The link we shared is this, HTTPS.
Oh. Okay. And so bring the ngrok window again.
It shows a couple not founds here. All the toppings are here. There's no way to. What if I do this? What if I just, let's see. I was trying to think if I could curl to it to make sure it's working, which I can do, I think. So let's open up PowerShell. Let's run curl. It's not localhost. Localhost 5000. I didn't do anything. Okay, well, look, at least that worked, right? And then if I say SSE, that's not going to do anything. But if I say MCP, and then if I say API, doesn't do anything. Okay, fine. All right. And then if I take the whole, where's the ngrok thing? Here. If I take this, curl 5000. No, I don't even need the 5000. Just say MCP. Yeah. Okay.
The same bad request.
Yeah, because I'm not creating a correct MCP request when I do this. So that doesn't actually worry me. It's just not responding on SSE, which does bother me. So I don't know. I don't know if I need to try doing something else, like if I need to try not using ngrok. Maybe I'm just not using it correctly, so I'm gonna close it and let's use Visual Studio's ports. Visual Studio Code's ports, and we'll say, what is it? 5000 is the one I need.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this was going to take time. Oh, that's right. We have to do this. This gets me every time, where I have to authorize the device. Well, unfortunately, that code I probably shouldn't have left on the screen, but that's okay. All right, so now okay, so now the port's up.
Yeah.
I have to change it to private. I'm sorry, change it to public.
Yep.
And I have to say I need this. Copy the address. All right. And then we're back here in our pizza ordering, and we go to app settings. And we're going to plug in the forwarded location. All right. So that's in. I think I need to restart everything. So let's just do that. Are they both restarted? I just want to make sure they're both started. Okay, I think so. So now that that's the case, we go to, oh, I need to change a couple other things. I need to change, wait, I've already changed that. Yeah, I've already changed that target. So the two APIs are running locally again, and now we will start without debugging the Foundry agent, which comes over here. Okay, hello. What things can you help me with? And it should go and discover the tools. No, nope. Of course, there's might be an extra slash there. Is that the problem? Let me double check.
Certainly could be. I don't recall that on the previous one.
I do have an extra slash. And actually, I didn't even need to hide it, right? Because there it is. So let's close the Foundry agent. Trying not to be too confusing about what's going on here. We have the local API and local MCP server running, and I'm trying to use create Foundry agent now configured to tell Foundry to come back to my local version of this. And once we get that going, we can build the Blazor dashboard. That was the idea. So yeah, okay. So this keeps happening. I think I know what it is, and unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to work today. Because here's what I think. Here's what I think is going on. I think the MCP server is not responding on HTTP. That's what I think. And so let's use for an example. Let's say we have a brand new Visual Studio. We had a couple people saying hi to us too, so I want to make sure we acknowledge them. Okay. Appreciate you joining us today. And we have still not started on the Blazor dashboard, which was not what we were hoping for. But when you go file new project and you say Blazor, and I actually don't even care what this app is called because that's not the point. See this configure for HTTPS?
Yeah.
Okay, so this, I think this just happens for us automatically and we don't even think about it, right? Is when the project's created, we're going to see in program CS, we're going to see use HTTPS redirection is right here.
Okay.
And when I go back to this app, it's not here. So let me just double check. It's after builder.build, but before mapping. So let's put that here. And let's save that. Okay. So now we are doing a multi-project start.
Yeah.
Because I want both API, the pizza ordering API and the MCP server to be running. And let me just make sure that they're both running because. Okay, so it did not start an HTTP version. So that I think goes to configuration, I think. Let's go back and look at our Blazor app because let's see. We said use HTTPS redirection, but I think what I want to see how we have a HTTPS thing of these. So let's go to the debug properties. And yes, that's what it is there's two separate debug properties, right? There's two launch profiles.
Right.
So is that sitting here in, I want to say that that's coming out of this. Yes, it's coming out of launch settings.json. So what we need is we need something like that. I'm just going to copy it for reference, and let's head over to, oh, we don't even have a launch settings. We don't even have one.
Well, no, because you know what, right? There's no.
We started building this as a console app.
Yeah.
So since we didn't start it as I don't want to say as a web app, we don't have a launch settings.json in here. So let's add a folder, properties, and then let's add a launch settings. I wonder if it's a template. Well, if it is a template, launch settings.json. Okay. And then obviously that's not what we want. So, because we're not making a class, I'm going to copy this one. And let's paste that in here. I feel like there's an issue though. Okay. So it was localhost 5000 was the HTTP version. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to set it to be like 5,000. Actually, I'm going to set the HTTPS one to be 5,000 and 4,000 for so that way it just swaps it, I hope.
Okay.
That's my hope.
Yeah.
Now, here's the issue. I have to go back and configure the startup project, I believe, by saying, I think I do. See, the problem is it didn't make a launch profile. That's what I was hoping. So what if I just say create new launch profile? Look at that. It sort of went for it. And yes, this is what I want. I want Pizza API started and I want Pizza MCP Server started. But I want the HTTPS target. Perfect. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. And I wonder if I can rename this. I can. Okay, start API MCP is what we'll call it.
Okay.
Or maybe I'll just say API MCP. So now we have I don't think I need this profile anymore. Let's just destroy it. Let's apply. And now when I come up here, I can choose it explicitly. And so now we'll start. And the purpose of that is to start both the MCP server and the API. Oh no, that is the MCP server. It didn't do it. It didn't do what I wanted at all. Did I not save this? I did. I did save this. And I wanted it to be HTTPS 5000, and it's just not doing it. So let's try just launching the MCP server. And yeah, see, it's not doing it. Okay.
So hang on.
Yep.
Don't those profile, I'm sorry, never mind. The profile names are different. It's HTTP and HTTPS. Never mind.
Yep. So when I start with HTTPS, it is not doing what I want. So let's see. There's nothing to view in here that makes it obvious what's going on. So we know we've already built the solution. And we go to launch settings and we see HTTPS and HTTP. And let me just double check what's going on in the Blazor app. Nothing different there, but let's go to, whoops. I guess that's fine that it opens it up because we can see the difference. This is just a sample Blazor app and we can see it's listening on both, right?
Right.
So I'm wondering if there's more middleware that I need. Enable hot reload, launch browser, app URL. Oh, that's an interesting one. App URL. We did not see that.
Mm-mm.
Is there something in app settings that I'm missing? No, I don't think so. Okay, let me come back over here, go to debug properties. Oh, wait, sorry, wrong one. This isn't what I thought it would be.
I mean, we've got a couple of errors down there. Is that?
Oh. It's complaining because the Foundry project is still open. Let me just close all these windows.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm going to try running it again, but I don't think it's going to change anything. No, there's something not configured, and it's because we didn't create it as a project here. So let's try a new chat. It could be something simple. The pizza MCP server project is not starting on HTTPS. There is a launch settings JSON for it and a project configuration for debugging. What is missing from the project to allow this?
Right, because it's using 5,000. If 5,000 is not specified in the, it is specified, but it's specified for HTTPS.
It's almost like this is being ignored.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So is this in the project properties?
Okay, so yeah, we know. It's interesting that it's going to ask me to create another dev cert, but I guess I could sort of see that. I guess I could see that. And so one of the issues is what it's complaining about is it's saying, hey, you have used HTTPS redirection, but you weren't using the Kestrel web server configuration. So, so it needed something to configure Kestrel for HTTPS. So let's go see what it did. This is interesting. This is almost like, huh? See, we're not seeing that in the other project, but I'm going to roll with it and just see what happens. It didn't change anything. So I think part of the issue is that when we create ASP.NET projects, it does something for us that we're missing right now.
Okay.
Because here's that Blazor app 2, which has a launch settings and it has an app settings, but the app settings doesn't say anything about what it just did, right? What GitHub Copilot recommended. Well, hold on. Nope. What GitHub Copilot recommended to do just was totally like didn't do anything. So there's something set up here that's not happening in our project. And I don't know. Let's see. Let's go look at the project file. It's the SDK is sdk.web. And I think we're going to see that. Remember how I switched it to sdk.web as well?
Yeah.
But I did that manually. Oh, no, wait a second. Wait a second. Maybe I never did switch it to that. And that we just talked about it. And so now it's totally upset about a ton of things. Now it's like, what's going on here? I think the Kestrel thing, maybe, I don't know if that's going to be a problem. I never did change it over to web. And now look at that. HTTPS.
You did that in the project setting, right?
I just did. Yeah, right. I changed the project to be of type. So if people aren't sure what this is, project SDKs are a way to get a bundle of NuGet packages. If you go back to the beginning of .NET Core, do you remember the big laundry list of NuGet packages that would come into your project? So the project SDK sort of, I hope I'm saying this correctly, it sort of bundles it and says, well, you're just a console. You're just using SDK. So it kind of excludes all the ASP.NET stuff. But if you want SDK.web, you're telling it like, well, not only do I need all the web stuff, I think it must also signal like how you're going to run. Are you running in Kestrel, which we were running in Kestrel, but now it's set up correctly. So now here's the thing. I don't know if that's enough to solve our problem. The port is open. The port is open, and we were doing create and see. Now it's not happy about some things here. Oh, consider removing it is likely unnecessary. Okay, fine. We can do that later, but I don't know that it's important to worry about that now.
Yeah.
Famous last words, right? Let's try running the Foundry agent because nothing else should have to change. If I'm right about this.
I think so.
Start without debugging. So my theory has been that the app is not correctly listening on HTTPS. It's not so much that it's not being contacted there, it's that it's not correctly listening. So shoot, watch. I hope I'm not totally wrong about all of that. I am wondering what kinds of things you can help me with. That should make a call to the MCP tool. And if it completes, then the call to the MCP tool will return and it'll know what kinds of things it can do. I didn't hit a breakpoint, did I? No. But it's definitely taking longer to think.
Yeah.
Which I don't know is good or bad. It could just be lost. If I go to the Azure AI Foundry portal while we're sitting here waiting. Oh, let's see. Hold on a second. I need a new agent. Oh, yeah, version. Okay, the version's up there. It's pointing to what I'm thinking about. Yeah, okay. I have a feeling it's still not working right. And it's kind of too bad because this was all working for me. I'm not sitting on any breakpoints, am I? Doesn't look like it. And see, the agent's it's just nothing's happening. Nothing is happening at all. So maybe there's some incompatibility between this toolkit and trying to use Foundry. We just don't know how to set it up with Foundry. I'm not sure.
I mean, Foundry doesn't seem to be the issue, right? Because you can't hit that endpoint regardless.
It's what you're right, but what I can't figure out is why, when I built all of this offline, did it all work perfectly?
Right. Can you do traces? Yeah.
It just gave up. So it's just not answering is what's happening.
So it is trying to call the MCP.
Yeah. I wonder if something's wrong and I need to, yeah, I don't know. I was going to say, is there something wrong with the dev tunnel? I don't know. So let's do this. Let me close this down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's see. Let me see if I can find it. I have another set of projects here. Here we go. Okay. So I'm curious what's different, but this should be, what do we have? We have a profile. Do we have a custom profile? No, we don't. So multiple startup projects. We'll start this and we'll start this. And see, that's funny. The debug target shouldn't matter. Shouldn't matter. Did it launch? Oh no, I have to push. Oh no, that's not right.
No,
that's not right. It only launched one of them. Oh, I didn't actually change it. Okay. So now 3000 is the port, not 5000.
Well, how did that happen?
So what I've brought up here is I've brought up a prior version where everything worked fine, including the Blazor dashboard.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like, this is all working. This has all worked before. So why doesn't it work now is my problem, right? Is this, it doesn't make any sense to me that that just because we're working on this live in our solution to go up to GitHub, it doesn't work anymore. So there must be some minor difference. Okay, so it's just 3 is the only difference. All right. Let's set Foundry agent to be the startup project because we're totally doing this separate. Foundry agent. If this doesn't work, then we're kind of sunk. But it's not stuck on a breakpoint, is it? Yep, agent created, version number 10 of our pizza bot. Hello there. What can you help me with? No, interesting. There wasn't like a change to Foundry in the last like 5 minutes that it doesn't use SSE anymore, does it? I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true either. But I mean, if that's the case, why you should be able to stay MCP and see if it comes over, right?
Sure. That's true. Okay. Hello. What can you help me with? Oh, wait a second. Look at that. There's no way. There's no way that that's in the end of all this. It's going to be that switching to MCP, which is the. So let's talk about what that means. When building an MCP server, when building an MCP server, the original standard was server sent events, right? And all that means is that means that MCP servers use server sent events to communicate back to their callers. That was deprecated to using a streamable, what's it called?
WebSocket.
Yes, streaming over a WebSocket. And by convention, you put /MCP on your endpoint to say that you are using the new standard and /SSE to say, hey, I'm using the legacy standard. And our MCP server, the MCP toolkit, supports your ability to map both without doing anything. You don't even have to think about it because Map MCP does it for you. But because we've been using Foundry, Foundry supports, my understanding was Foundry Legacy still required /SSE. So I've been insisting on using that. But now it's quite possible that we've been sitting here beating our head against the wall and we just needed to switch to MCP. So you said you have a theory as well. What toppings are available for your pizzas? I want to see if it calls, if we see this calling back to our local system here. I was hoping it would hit a breakpoint. Oh, what happened to the breakpoints? Oh, no, sorry, I'm in the wrong spot. Oh, no, it didn't. Interesting. It did not actually land here. And the reason why is because these are the agents that I'm running. These are the agents I'm running. So I'm going to ask it to fetch pizzas in a second. But see, so it already did it. Okay, what kind of pizzas do you have? I just want to see it hit this. There it is. Hits our local endpoint. Mm-hmm. Hits our local. So all of this has been about switching from the legacy server sent events standard to MCP. You said a second ago you had a theory about it. So like I'm thinking, like, did this just happen?
So why? So let's go back to the program.
Program CS. Okay.
Yeah.
Which one? Which one? The one in the MCP server? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the one that's working for us, by the way.
Right.
And it's no different. Yeah.
So what's the at the end? So what's in the parentheses? I guess is what I'm saying. Is it really the endpoint that we're defining?
Yes, you're mapping your endpoint for streamable HTTP transport. But what they're saying is the method also for you, without even thinking, creates a legacy SSE endpoint at that path. And I will tell you, in rehearsal, so to speak, because we do things live here, but I wanted to, before we came, I wanted to learn how to build an MCP server and how to host it in Foundry. So I did all of this. I did all of this with the /SSE endpoint because the MCP endpoint didn't work. But that was about a week ago, maybe 10 days. So I know things move fast, but so here's the deal.
Time frame?
Yeah.
So that time frame was when we kind of first did the first bot or the pizza bot in Foundry, and I had gone back and created a pizza bot in Foundry by dropping a bunch of documents and stuff on there, and that behavior for me has changed. The way I did it doesn't appear to be there anymore. So I think some updates are happening through that.
Okay, I understand. The one thing I need to make sure we're doing here, though, is where is my... Okay, so this is what we were going to build today.
Right.
Our own version of the Contoso Pizza dashboard. This was the plan, was to build this. And it says no orders yet. So let's go back to our agent that we've been talking to, which is coming and talking to our MCP server implemented in C#, and say, I want to order a pepperoni pizza. My name is Chris. I'm going to leave out the user ID because it should yell at me. I mean, I think it should. Let's see what it does here. Oh, okay. I placed an order for pepperoni pizza. All right. All right. And there it is. So this is what we intended to do today on the show, was to build the Blazor dashboard. But in order to build the Blazor dashboard, we needed the MCP server to be reachable by our Foundry-based agent. And that required the tunneling. The tunneling was doing its job. It was all down to the endpoint. And so the Contoso Pizza dashboard, which we're going to have to build, I think, next time, right?
Yeah, try that tomorrow.
Right. The Contoso Pizza dashboard is a series of, I mean, we can get a preview real quick. It's just a very simple main page. I'm sorry, I don't want to open app. I don't want to open that. I want to go to our pages. It's a very simple main page, the dashboard, which responds at the root, We have an order service that knows how to call out to the agent. It uses the agent. That's the thing I want to make clear. Actually, no, that's not true. It talks to the I think it talks to the API. I'm sorry. It talks directly to the API, and it basically just calls it and says, let's get orders async, get status async. The order service sort of takes care of that for it. And then it's using a little trick here to refresh itself every 10 seconds.
Okay.
So in fact, it's already ready, right? The pizza's already ready. But at least according to that. And the idea is that I want to also order a buffalo chicken pizza. I think that's one of them. And let's see if it places the order, because if it does, then okay, great. Then we should see it. Yes, it's pending. And as we're sitting here talking, we should see it go through the pending to preparation and so on. So the goal for today was not to sit and figure out everything that was wrong with our agent, working with it. So this is what we're trying to do. We have a Foundry agent, but we wanted to test our Blazor web app and our MCP server and API all locally. We didn't want to have to go deploy those somewhere, just so that we could have them be internet accessible, and then Foundry would point to it, right?
Yeah.
And we see that it switched to in preparation up here on our dashboard. So awesome. We wanted to do all that locally. The roadmap from there is to say, okay, now how do we deploy this? We want it deployed. We want all that automated. Mm-hmm. So that you do a check-in, it should deploy it. We could have a development environment if we want. We could have a QA. We could do whatever we want to do. But I believe that still a developer is going to say, I want to see how I can make all this work locally. So I remember last time I said something about Foundry Local, but I think you corrected me. Foundry Local is not about hosting Foundry agents locally. It's about hosting, among other things, perhaps LLMs locally.
Models, yes. Yeah.
Right.
LLMs and what they call SLMs, small language models.
Okay. So basically what Foundry Local says is I want all the features of Foundry, but I want the LLM and the model to be local. Maybe I'm using a small one that compiles fine locally, no big deal. It's not, so that's not necessarily the same thing I'm looking for, which is, I'm looking for the development patterns that help a developer use these tools, but not, what I don't want to do is I don't want to be in a position that the only way to test is to deploy, because that feels a little bit too much like, well, I gotta put it in production to see how it works. Right. Not that you couldn't debug. We know there are debugging features for things like Azure websites and stuff. We know there are.
Yeah.
But it feels like, man, that's a lot of lifting for me personally, when I just want to get it all running locally. What's the pattern to do it? And then once I'm satisfied, now let's get it up there. Let's get telemetry included. Let's get all the things included for us to properly productionize the app. We're just taking baby steps, a show at a time. Unfortunately, the step we took today ended up being just figuring out how to get a locally running MCP server to be addressable by Foundry. And I had thought, as you could see, banging my head against the wall saying, oh, we have to give it the SSE endpoint. But once I switched over to MCP, it's like, yeah, sure, that's cool. I'm good. So cool.
Yeah. So I've been kind of searching real quick because there were a couple. Apparently there was, it doesn't say when it was released, but there was a blog post on Friday, the 6th, announcing the February release of Foundry.
Okay.
And if you now scroll through the documentation for model connecting agents to model context protocol servers in Foundry, there is no mention of SSE at all. It is all as MCP. I have to go look and see what the previous version, which is great that all this is done, documentation is done up in GitHub, so we can go take a look and see. But that's, I think what we ran into was the fact that possibly something got updated and SSE is not working, even though it doesn't say that in the release notes.
You said March 6th too, which is interesting because I think I did all of this around the 1st is when I was like, okay.
That was me too. It was like everything's
working now. So we should be able to go and do a show where we implement this live because my sample's all working.
Right. Surprise.
Yeah, surprise. Now, what's bothering me a little bit is I feel like SSE support wouldn't be ripped away because that would hurt existing customers, right? So I'm a little shocked as to why the SSE endpoint isn't working anyway, even when forwarded. But I think I'm not going to stress over that. I don't know why, but we know we can do map MCP and everything's great. And so what I'm going to do is I will take a little time to make sure that our current MCP server, the one that's up in GitHub right now, in fact, is ready to go. And so, we don't have the Blazor web app up in GitHub because that's what we were going to build and push to GitHub today. That was the plan. But what we do have is we have our different examples of talking to Foundry agents, one using Agent Framework. We have our Pizza API and our Pizza MCP server are all in GitHub, including, I think, a pretty decent README that describes what they all are. And if you go to like the Pizza MCP server, tells you how to run it. And then we are going to get documentation in here how to build it.
Nice.
So right now, that documentation's in progress. I think I have some of it locally. But you can basically run all of this stuff, and you can even run it through Foundry. It's just that running it through Foundry requires you to, running the full local stack. So this is already in the README. I think it needs a little bit of an update because it's talking about using this, but see, it's how it says to use SSE. I need to go update this. Because look, it was even in my instructions. And these instructions, they were all working. So I'm a little confused as to what happened there. But, oh, wait a second. Is it that it has to be /MCP/SSE? Oh, don't tell me that's it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Maybe that's what I've been beating my head against the wall about. If we have a moment, we'll try it. And I'm going to have to definitely go change the, obviously the topic says we were going to do one thing. So apologies for that, but we will, now we know that we are ready to go. So this is pizza ordering. Pizza MCP agents was my proof of concept project. And let's go to app settings. Nope, that's not it. Sorry. What is it that I need to do? I needed to keep that running because that running is not the problem.
Right.
The web API and the agents are not the problem. It's create Foundry agent, and it's to create Foundry agents app settings, which again, we are not going to be using app settings in the long run. Okay. So don't tell me that this is the answer. And if it is, we're going to have to figure out how to edit this show down so that we're like, hey, here's some useful stuff that we actually learned today versus the
5 minutes out.
versus the poking around. Version 12 of our pizza bot. What kind of things can you help me with? Yeah, this is going to be fine. Watch. Here we go. So, okay. So Foundry supports the legacy server send events standard, and it now currently supports the streamable standard.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably it because it got the set of tools, right? It would have choked on.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't hit the MCP. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, like you said, I don't have, let me go in here. Here's the MCP server. Let's go to pizza tools. Let's go get a list. Let's get a list of the pizza orders.
Yeah.
This is the MCP tool to get orders. So let's
that
go.
One didn't light up.
It will. Oh yeah, you're right. It's because I'm in the wrong project.
Yep.
So let me come here. Pizza tools. Let's say get orders. And then we'll do like place order. Let's get in here just to prove that we're talking to our own local
Yeah.
Yeah. Do I have any orders? Any orders going right now? It might ask me for my name, or maybe it's just going to call the server. Oh, what happened? Oh, I need your user ID and name. Okay, sure. My user ID is blah, 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 and my name is Chris. Okay.
So it doesn't matter. It's just a way for them to track. Is it?
Yes. Yes and no. It doesn't matter. The user ID does categorize the orders for you in the API. But to be fair, I've got a little trick going on in our API that I'm not storing user IDs at the moment. I'm just saying you're good. The reason why is we have to add in a backend.
Yeah.
And no, that's fine. We have to add in a backend that basically would say, hey, I'm Rich and I want to register. Okay, Rich, here's your user ID. So theoretically, what you could do, let's say we made the pizza ordering time, the preparation time longer.
Yeah.
We would be able to demonstrate you closing the dashboard, closing your agent, reopen the agent and say, hey, I'm Rich. Here's my user ID. How's my order going?
Yeah.
Right now, it happens so fast that it's not all that valuable. But we could do that. So, oh yeah, and when we could see that our local get orders got called. So it was go to the agent. Foundry says, hold on, I got an MCP tool I got to call. And it calls back into our local version, right? You don't have any pending orders. Sure, I would like to order a pepperoni pizza because that's what I always order here. And send it fast. It should, since it has my username and ID, it should just do it. Oh, except that here it goes. Yep, placing the order, right? We can see if we really zoom in. The user ID was just some stuff that I said. Oh, it even called it Chris's fast order. So it nicknamed it that, and then we can see the items array when I zoom in. It kind of ruined it a little bit, but it's creating a pizza. So let's go ahead and do that. Pizza's created. Our dashboard is not connected, which is fine. I don't know that it's going to be able to. Yeah, because I think I shut down the dashboard.
Right.
So
just real quick, going back to that program.cs file for the MCP server. MCP inside the quotes inside of there doesn't matter. It's just, it could be slash.
Oh, sure. It could be slash, like my pizza place.
Right.
That matters. Oh, look at cool. Knows about the order pending. That's nice. So I don't even need the dashboard, so to speak. I mean, I do.
Right.
It's checking on the orders. Oh, okay. I guess the order finished. Okay. So moral of the story, like you said, let's wrap this up by talking about your MCP server and map MCP. So what did this do? The /MCP required me to use this in the create Foundry agent. I had to add on MCP here because that's how I mapped the endpoint. If I want to use the legacy SSE support, then I just tack that on. But if I don't want to use the legacy support, I just take it off. And that's it.
Right. Yes.
However, to your point, Rich, if I went back to the pizza MCP agent and we just named this pizza agent, I don't know why you would or wouldn't do this. Doesn't matter. That now becomes part of the endpoint, and I have to do this. Maybe I want to call it pizza MCP. I don't know. Pizza agent's probably a terrible word. Who cares what this says? It just has to match. It has to match. So let's not get too caught up, which I did, frankly, get too caught up in this having meaning other than the meaning that you gave it in your own map MCP, mapping the MCP endpoint.
Gotcha.
That's it.
Cool.
So, little bit of an adventure. sorry to everybody who may have wanted to see how you build a pizza dashboard. We saw the pizza dashboard working. So, and I mean, tomorrow's good. So I think tomorrow morning we come in, we build the Blazor dashboard. Shouldn't take too long. Whole thing is up and running. And then we have conversations about what's next, including how are we going to deploy it and how are we going to secure it? You know, the pizza API probably in the real world isn't just some public API anybody can call willy-nilly. Like certain merchants would have access to it. And so that means that our MCP server would also be, I don't know that it would be a merchant, but it would have access. Yeah. Your existing API probably already has a credential pattern.
Right.
You're going to now give one, you're going to give a set of credentials, probably the client credentials pattern in this case, to the MCP server so that it can call it. But what if you said to yourself, no, I want the MCP server to act on behalf of the merchant? We could explore the on behalf of pattern as well. To me, what I think, you know, and this is what we like to do on the show, is go beyond the demo and talk about, like, you want to use this at work.
Right.
There's more considerations.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one thing I can't wait to go back to is we talked about this, and then I kind of realized that we left the conversation a little light, is create Foundry agent, and all of our agent usage, we've been using default Azure credential.
Yeah.
Which is great because it provides, it's good, especially in development, because it provides this fallback mechanisms where it's falling back to my AZ CLI login, but it could also be other fallbacks too. In production, we may not want fallbacks to be enabled. We might want to say, we know exactly how we want to connect. And if that doesn't work, we don't want fallbacks.
Right.
We could accomplish this with a little bit of a code to just figure out, this is very common for me in ASP.NET Core anyways, is what environment are we in?
Right.
And if we're in development, or if we don't recognize that we're in production, we could go either way. It's cool. We can use default Azure credential because we're working on it as a developer.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we might want to require that to be more proactive. We don't want that to be a fallback. And then if that particular switch is missing, or if we detect a production switch of some kind, we know for sure how we want to connect, probably using a managed identity.
Yeah.
And that way, if the managed identity doesn't exist, we don't want this thing falling back. It's just going to work great. It was just something that I'd kind of thought about a little bit after we talked, because we didn't say anything that was wrong. We just didn't go through the whole security story.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, hey, it's a little past 9. I appreciate you staying with me a little bit.
No, this is good. I'm glad we figured out what the issue was.
Yeah. And thanks to everybody who stuck with us. We really do appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed the stream, even though some people do tell us they appreciate watching us work through things. But wow, that took a lot longer today. But now we know a lot about how this works, and we're going to be great. So we will be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
To build the Blazor dashboard, and that'll be it.
That'll be fun.
So I'm excited. Cool. All right, Rich. So for Rich, I'm Chris. We will see you all tomorrow on the Dev Talk Show.